In an age of concern about climate change, some people have become opposed to the very idea of having children. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is warning that it could be immoral to have kids.
Our planet is going to face disaster if we don't turn this ship around. And so it's basically like there's scientific consensus that the lives of children are going to be very difficult. And it does lead, I think, young people to have a legitimate question. You know, is it okay to still have children?
Some people decided that no, it is not okay to have children. Blythe Pepino is a co-founder of Birth Strike. It's a group of people who are refusing to have children in order to resist climate change. And she joins us tonight. Blythe, thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This story makes me sad. I'm not here to attack you. I want to take what you're saying seriously. But I'm not sure I understand why you're choosing not to have children. So I would be grateful if you'd tell us.
Sure. Yeah, thank you for asking, because a lot of people are getting a little bit confused about what we're trying to do here. Birth Strike isn't about trying to stop other people from having children. We feel too afraid to have kids because we feel that we're heading towards civilization breakdown as a result of the environmental crisis and the sort of mismanagement or political inertia over dealing with it. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It's a sadder answer even than I imagine. I mean, because there are a lot of people who argue that nobody should have kids. That's one argument. You're basically saying the species is over, it's hopeless, we should, in effect, as a group, end it, commit suicide.
Well, I think where we are now is incredibly frightening. And what I discovered when I made the decision and started talking about it to other young women around me was that we felt like we'd lost faith in the system and the authorities, because they weren't really dealing with this situation. They weren't managing the threat properly that we've been told about. So yes, it is quite sad, but at the same time, Birth Strike itself is a hopeful act. What we're trying to say is, come on, we've got two options. You know, we either unite collectively behind action on this immediately, because we're already heading towards the collapse, or we consign ourselves to, I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's true, extinction.
I mean, each day for me is a struggle. I really do. I'm so depressed. I feel so hopeless over how, you know, I'm reading just in the last couple of months even, that, you know, insect numbers are plummeting so fast. It now threatens the collapse of nature, that we're losing biodiversity, we're not losing, we're destroying biodiversity so quickly that threatens our food. And the UN have said that could lead to the risk of our own extinction.
Our planet is in a kind of collapse. The natural world is collapsing around us, and that's actually happening right now.
Millennials and people, and you know, Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And
learning about wildlife around the world, and I realised that most of it was actually just in a state of emergency.
Our planet is going to face disaster if we don't turn this ship around. And so it's basically like there's scientific consensus that the lives of children are going to be very difficult. And it does lead, I think, young people to have a legitimate question. You know, is it okay to still have children?
Really important to tell the public that there are people out there that are so scared about this that they feel that they can't actually have a family.
Called a birth strike. How about this for a strike?
Okay.
These are a group of women who have partners who are married, right? Who form an organization because of climate change. I feel very strongly, do I want to bring my kid into this world? So guess what I'm going to do?
Not have one.
I'm not going to have one until the world takes climate change seriously.
I can't have a child until I am absolutely convinced that we are on a seriously different path.
It's like not good enough. Like we need a universal sense of urgency, and people are trying to like introduce watered down proposals that are frankly going to kill us.
Here I came to the decision that I couldn't bring a child into that. and I was asking around people that I know, put it a little bit out on Facebook, and realised actually quite a lot of other people are making this decision.
So aside from the ecological breakdown, we're heading into this world that none of us are equipped for.
At some point, these chronic realities do reach a breaking point. And I think for our generation, it's reached that.
This is a serious strike, this is. And one of the people said, I know, and one of the people there said, I do have a partner. I would love to have children with him. So it's not people who don't want to have kids and are just using an excuse. But we're really in love, and it feels like the right thing to do.
And I totally understand why this is hard for people like my mum to understand, is this is now at such a crunch time that this needs to affect every decision in our lives now.
A lack of urgency is going to kill us. It doesn't matter if you agree that climate change is an important issue. At this point, it doesn't matter.
And I'm so disappointed by the response by authorities to this crisis, and so freaked out by it.
It's not enough for me to hear that we'll maybe meet this target or that these things might be happening. I need to see it. I need to see a different world before I can bring someone else into it.
Until we all start pitching in and holding people accountable, I'm just going to let them have it.